Hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here once again to review Jaws 3D. Yes, Jaws 3D is once again a part of this 3-movie collection. Jaws 3D came out in 1983. It's a horror film that is this time directed by Joe Alves. And the plot is, well, we're done with Chief Brody, right? Roy Scheider is nowhere near this franchise anymore. He's long gone. This film takes place years and years later, where his son, Mike Brody, is the main character. He's older now. He's played by Dennis Quaid. A very young Dennis Quaid, very early in his career, clearly. And you see him working at SeaWorld, and him and his girlfriend are very happy. Him and his brother, Sean Brody, very happy. Everything's going just fine until yet another great white shark shows up to terrorize this small town. Now, what I think of Jaws 3D is, man, oh man, where did we go wrong with this franchise? Look, I know I said things about the second film and how it wasn't as good as the first, which it wasn't. But when you watch this, it's like, what? That second movie, at least they tried. At least they tried with the characters. At least they tried their damnness to bring Roy Scheider back. They tried to continue the story as best as they could. This movie is literally just a cash grab. Not just because of the fact that it's 3D, and you get so many shots of this movie in 3D, of like 3D stuff of underwater, or the shark doing stuff, or limbs in 3D, and it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that was appealing in 1983, but nowadays, when you get so much 3D, so much good 3D, this 3D is so piss poor, so fucking bad, so lazy. Tell there's no imagination, there's nothing behind any of this, and there's something about the way how they transferred 3D movies back then to where it looked like bad CGI or something. There's something about the things that are supposed to pop out on screen. It just looks like a bad computer rendering. It looks terrible. You get so many stuff like that. Even one scene of the shark coming at the screen and supposedly breaking glass, and the glass is supposed to fly. I'm like, this is so fucking cheesy and so fucking bad. I will say this before I beat this movie up too much. The acting and these characters aren't the worst. They're not. You have Dennis Quaid as Mike Brody, like I said, and it's interesting that they made Mike the main character. Having him older, seeing where he is in life. It's just too bad that there's not really much going on with him. You just see him and his girlfriend, Catherine, played by Bess Armstrong, who I do like her. She's a lot more proactive than most female characters in horror movies. But again, there's just not a whole lot to them. You get scenes of Mike and his brother Sean at the very beginning, and they feel like brothers. They do. They have this buddy relationship. They're joking around, playing pranks on each other. So I appreciated seeing all that. As far as another actress who showed up in this movie, Leah Thompson, who plays Lorraine McFly. Well, she doesn't play that in this movie, but that's who I think of when I see her. Michael J. Fox's mom from Back to the Future. She's here. She's younger. She's hot. She's on the beach, or she's in the water, bikini. She looks good, Lorraine does. And you have Louis Gossett Jr. as Calvin Bouchard, and I'm mentioning this guy, this actor, for one reason, really. Because I almost didn't realize until I saw him in this movie that he is the first black character I've noticed in a Jaws movie, in any Jaws movie. Just wanted to point that out for whatever reason. Now, let's talk about the shark. The shark, because yes, this movie's in 3D. Yes, it's all about the shark. When they first showed us the shark, I was very disappointed because the shark looked so small and so not scary, so plain. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what could have happened to this budget? Was it slashed not only in half, but in quarters? And it's like, how much little money did they have to make this little dinky baby shark? Until you find out in the story that it is in fact a baby shark, and that its mother, the real great white shark, is out there to, I guess, look for the baby or whatever it's doing. So I was like, okay, fine. And when you see the bigger shark, the mother shark, it's huge. It's big. There's that. And it's practical, so there's also that. But the only thing that made this look fake, and look, you won't see me beat up practical effects too much. I love practical effects. I'm totally behind practical effects. Especially in the 80s, it's like that's how it should be done. But the shark's eyes looked like buttons, or just, there was so nothing behind the eyes. Like, it was so cheap looking and immediately took me out of it. It didn't really move all that well. Look, I'm not saying I would have rather have bad CGI. I'm just saying that if we could put some more time, effort, and care into these practical effects, into this mechanical shark. I mean, clearly Steven Spielberg is at another level with filmmaking, so the fact that he was able to take that little budget and shoot that shark the way that he did to make it look as real as it did, in comparison to these sequels, it's like, fuck, night and day, almost. There was one aspect to this film that I at least thought was different and interesting, to a point. The fact that these characters all worked at SeaWorld and they interacted with dolphins and animals and whatnot. You get a couple scenes, one scene in particular, where the dolphins help them, actually like fight the shark off for them. Which I know sounds laughable, and it kind of is, but still, it was a character moment for the dolphins where I at least cared about the dolphins more than anyone else in this movie. There is this one scene, though, where Dennis Quaid and Catherine are being chased by the great white shark, and they make it onto like the submarine thing, and they're trying to close the door, but the shark gets like one tooth out from the corner of the door, and they can't close it because the tooth is there. I'm like, this movie turned into a slasher. They turned the shark into a fucking slasher killer. Because even if you left the door open, what's going to make this shark come through this little door? It's a huge great white shark. This is so silly. This is so much of a lame attempt at tension and suspense. And that brings me to the score, which was by Alan Parker, who is nowhere near John Williams, of course. But it's just, this was so forgettable, this score. Like, they didn't even reuse the iconic Jaws theme, and it's like, that's what you're here to hear and see. What the fuck? Why wouldn't you try to at least make some type of remix or rendition of it? No, you just left it out completely. This movie, it's not the worst steaming, stinking pile of dog shit I've ever seen, right? It's not the worst sequel ever. It's just very boring. I was sitting here almost falling asleep at times watching this film, and it's the shortest one that I've seen so far. It's less than 2 hours, and I was bored. Bored. I'm sorry if there's fans of Jaws 3D. I'm sorry for your taste, but just this movie, nothing here, nothing behind it. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you like Jaws 3D, if you disagree or agree with me. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Please won't you save my desires on fire? Sometimes you need a little piece at home on fire. So wired. Come follow me and I can lose you. Come follow me and take a trip to